Welcome students to our channel Future Endeavors. As in the previous class we have finished discussing the chapter 1, which was about moment of force or the turning effect of force. Now this lecture will be on the second chapter, which is work, energy and power. So let us see what do you mean by work. So the chapter that we are going to discuss today is work, energy and power. Okay, so first of all, let us come to the first topic, work. You must be all very similar with this term work. Whenever you do something, be it playing on the ground or studying or eating or even sleeping, you think that you are doing some kind of work. But in the language of a physicist, rather, the definition of work is something a bit different. To us, in a common language, it may seem that whenever we get to seem tired of doing something, we can say that we are doing some work. But according to a physicist, the definition is a little bit different. Everything that you think of is not actually work in terms of physics. So what actually is work in terms of physics? Now for that, I have to demonstrate some examples. Say when you so think of some examples. Say after studying, when you pack up your books and copies and keep it on the shelf of your room from the table, you are actually applying some force on the books and the copies and displacing it from your table to the shelf. This can be regarded as work. Again, when you apply force on a say wall, how much ever you force to apply on the wall, after all it will not be displaced from its position. You may get tired, it may consume your whole day, but after all a physicist will come and say that you have not done any kind of work. So from these two examples we can see, we have used the term that when you are applying a force on the book, you are displacing the book from your table to the shelf. And in case of the example that of pushing a wall or applying a force on the wall, we have said that the wall has not been displaced from its position. So I think from these two examples it is becoming a little bit clear that in order that a physicist refers something to work, you need to have two things. What are those two things? So for the work that we are talking of, there needs to be two things. One is that you need to apply a force. I think the concept of force is very much clear to you all, as we have discussed it in the first chapter. And along with force, there must be another thing which is called displacement. Now as you are in class 10, you must be familiar with this term displacement. So for work to be done, these two things must be present. One is the force, another is the displacement. The more force you apply, the greater amount of work you can say you have done. The more displacement you cause to an object, it is said that you have done more work. So basically we can say in a very simple language that work is nothing but the process in which you apply force on some object, and in that process, the object gets displaced to a certain extent, and this can be regarded as work. So we can say, what is work? Process in which force is applied on an object, and it leads to the displacement of the object. This process can be regarded as work. So in work, these two things must be present. You must have some force and you must have some displacement. Otherwise, if any one of these becomes zero, then the work done is said to be zero. Okay, so mathematically, the work done in a very simple way can be expressed as, if we denote the work done by the letter W, then work done can be regarded as force into displacement. Now you have to be careful about one thing here. The force that you are applying, that must be in the direction of the displacement. When you are writing this formula that work is equal to force into displacement, you must take note of this thing, that this force is in direction of force or in direction of the displacement. This force must be in the direction of displacement. This is a very important thing. That when you are using this formula, work is equal to force into displacement, you have to be sure that the force that you are applying must be in the direction of the displacement. Okay, so rather this is a very simple mathematical formula that you can use to calculate work. You have read this in the lower classes, so I think in 7, 8 you have read this. But what happens if we apply a force and that force is not totally along the direction of displacement? Then actually we cannot apply this formula, this simple formula, work equals to force into displacement. So what will be the mathematical formula? Okay, before proceeding on to the complex form of the mathematical form of the work, can you answer what is the SI unit of work? Now see, the SI unit of force is Newton. So SI unit of force is Newton. Let me write it here. SI unit of force is Newton. Okay, and SI unit of displacement is meter. So Newton meter, this term or this can be regarded as the SI unit of work, but in honor of the scientists who have actually done a lot of experiment to make light on this topic, that is work, we have given the unit SI unit of work as joule. So it is after the name of the scientist who have enlightened his views on work and helped us to understand this particular phenomenon. So the SI unit of work can be regarded as joule. Rather writing Newton meter, you can write this as joule. Now remember one thing, when we were discussing moment of force or torque, there also we have obtained this unit, that is Newton meter. So don't confuse this unit with the unit of moment of force. That is why for work we specifically say that the unit is joule, SI unit is joule, and for moment of force the SI unit has been regarded or taken as Newton meter. So the SI unit of work is joule. I think you will remember this. Okay. Now coming back to the problem that we are discussing. So this formula is for when the force applied is in the direction of the displacement of the object. But what if the force is not totally along the direction of the displacement of the object? Then we have to modify this formula a bit. So let us see how it gets modified. So I think you have noted all the things that have been written on the board. If not, please pause the video and note it down. Okay. So let us see. Let us see. Say on the surface a box is lying like this, and we have applied a force in this way. We have applied a force in this direction. Now obviously you have noticed that often when a box or something lies on the ground, you apply the force from the standing vertical position, and in that case the force acts somewhat like this on the object. So definitely you can say that the force is not totally along the displacement of the object. In this case, obviously you can understand that the displacement of the object will be in this direction. So for calculating the work done by this force in moving the object along this particular displacement, we have to think of that component of force which is acting along the displacement, and to get the amount of work done, we have to multiply that component of force with the displacement. So I think now it is clear. So how can you get the component of this force along the displacement? So if we just simplify this figure, we can say, if we consider this object as a small point object, the figure will be a little bit easier for you. So the figure looks like something like this. So this is our object. We have considered as a point object which was lying on the ground. We have applied the force in this direction. So I can just think of this like this. The force is acting along this direction. Okay. And the displacement is along this direction. Now say, if the angle between the displacement and the force applied is theta, so what component of force will act along the displacement? For this, it will be easier if you draw a perpendicular from this point. Say from this point we have drawn a perpendicular. So this turns out to be right angle triangle. This is the base, this is the hypotenuse, and you know the relation between base and hypotenuse is expressed through cosine of that angle. So here, say if this particular component of the force along the displacement is rather say f dashed, so you can write f dashed by f is equal to cos theta. Isn't it correct? So from this you can write that f dashed is actually equal to f cos theta. Is it correct? So now I think the things are a little bit becoming clear, that in order to get the work done in this case, when the object is displaced along this direction, when the force is acting like this, you have to take that component of force which is along the displacement, and that is f dash, it is equal to f cos theta. Then for here the particular case, work done will be equals to f dash into s, and this turns out to be f s cos theta. So this is the actual formula for the work done in moving a particular body in certain direction, with the force not acting always along the direction of displacement. So you can use this formula to get the work done for any kind of situation that arises. So I think now it is clear to you all that actually the formula that we must be using is not only F into S, rather it should be Fs cos theta. So this is the work done, Fs cos theta. Okay, I think it is clear. Now we will consider three special cases for this particular mathematical expression. What are those three special cases? Now let us have a look at those three special cases. Okay. Okay, now let us have a look at those three special cases that we can arrive from this mathematical expression. Let's see. So what are those three special cases? Now the formula turns out to be Fs cos theta. Now depending on the value of cos theta, we will get three special cases. So just let me write the formula once again here. Okay. The first case turns out to be like this. First case, case 1, turns out to be like this, that when theta is equal to 0 degree. Now when will this theta be 0 degree? When the force is applied along the direction of displacement, then you can say that the angle theta is 0 degree. Let us see this diagrammatically. So diagrammatically, if we represent this, so say this is an object kept on the ground and the object is displaced in this direction S. You are also applying the force in the direction of the displacement F. Now obviously you can understand, as both displacement and force are in the same direction, obviously the angle theta will be 0 degree. So in this case, what will be the expression for the work done? So here you can easily understand, if I put the value of theta in this expression, then the expression turns out to be Fs cos of 0 degree, and as you know, cos of 0 degree is having a value 1. So obviously this turns out to be the easier formula, work equals to F into S. Now as you can see from the expression, in this case the work done will be obviously positive, and for a particular value of F and S, the work done can also be regarded as maximum. I repeat again, for a particular value of F and S, that is for a particular value of force and displacement, if they are both along the same direction, obviously you get the maximum work. So this is the first case, when theta equals to 0 degree. So this is a very easy case. I think you have noted it down. Now let us come to the second case. What is the second case? Now see, if this theta turns out to be 90 degree, then what happens? If this theta turns out to be 90 degree, then what happens? Let us see. So can you imagine of an example where the force and the displacement are not actually along the same line but perpendicular to each other? Let me give you one example. A very easy example you see in your daily life is a coolie carrying certain load on his head. Now one thing is very important here. When you are saying that some work is being done, two things must also be taken note of, that the work is done by which force and on which body. Obviously on a certain body there may be more than one forces acting, and the work done by the different forces on that particular same body may be different. So remember one thing, it is very important that when you are saying that work is being done, it is important to refer that the force which is responsible for that particular work, then actually you get the correct expression. Now say, when a coolie when a coolie is moving on a ground like this, when a coolie is moving on a ground, let me draw a coolie. So just don't go for the figure, try to understand the particular situation here. When you are thinking of a coolie carrying certain load on his head, now see, there is a load on his head, okay, so, and the coolie is moving in this direction. So the displacement of the coolie is in this particular direction, as you can see from the figure. It is clear, I think. And in this particular case, the gravitational force that is acting on the load placed on the head of the coolie is obviously acting downwards like this. So weight of the object kept on the head of the coolie is acting downwards. So this is the force, and as you know, weight is obviously a kind of force, so it acts downward. Now you can see the angle here produced is 90 degree. So in this particular case, the work done by the force of gravity. So here, what will be the expression for the work done? Work done by gravity while the coolie is being moving in the direction shown. So in that case, the work done turns out to be F into S. Okay, here the F is actually the weight of the coolie. So this is the force, F into S into cos 90 degree. And as you know, cos 90 turns out to be 0. So here the work done by the force of gravity turns out to be 0. Now you might be thinking, then while walking on a certain road with a load on the head, a coolie is doing 0 work according to physics. So it turns out to be little weird that you are actually paying the coolie for nothing, for doing 0 work. This turns out to be little weird. So now let us see that what is the work that the coolie is doing for which you are paying him or her. So let us see the third case where the theta turns out to be 180 degree. Okay, so moving on to the next case, case number 3. So I think this is clear that when theta turns out to be 90 degree, work done will be 0 whatsoever may be the force or whatsoever may be the displacement of the particular object. Okay, now third case is actually when your theta is 180 degree. Now let us see what this turns out to be. The third case is when theta equals to 180 degree. Now when this kind of case will arise, see, the coolie is moving in the forward direction, obviously there is no doubt in that, but see, the force of friction that is working against the coolie, you know, force of friction always opposes the motion. So the coolie is moving in the forward direction, but the force of friction is acting in the opposite direction, particular opposite direction. So you can easily note here that the theta or the angle between the force and the displacement, force means the frictional force and the displacement is 180 degree. So in this case, work done by the force of friction in this particular example will be F S cos 180. And you may note that cos 180, this particular value may not be known to you, but the value of cos 180 turns out to be -1. So if you put the value of cos 180, the work done turns out to be negative. So here work equals to minus F into S. Okay. So for theta equals to 180 degree, the work done here will be always negative. So I think this is very clear to you that in case the theta turns out to be 180 degree, whatever will be the value of work, but the work done will be negative. So these are the 3 special cases that you can get while applying the formula of a work. All the other cases lie in between these 3 special cases. Okay. So in today's lecture we will stop here. In the next lecture we will be continuing from here and we will be doing some problems. Till then, Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.